Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Hello all. How y'all doing this Saturday morning? This is the Club of the Man 1993. And yes, I was going to do both AEW and SmackDown reviews last night to get caught up on. Again, pre-recorded because I got to get caught up before the bigger stream I'll do later on, which will be the preview and predictions for tomorrow night's AEW Revolution 2023. But I'm pre-recording these. I haven't uploaded Dynamite as I'm recording now. But doing this, lunch, and I'll upload these. And then just throughout the day, I'm going to be doing just stuff around the house and getting caught up with content on the channel. I also have to remind myself also, usually when I get to the part of my intro where I flap the scarf on, that, oh yeah, this is part of my gimmick now. So I had to fix that. But guys, let's get rolling. What is going on? This is the Club of the Man 1993. And for I am the man himself. And as always, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And I said that all completely out of order, but I'll try my best there. Anyways, though, we are live. No, we're not live. Crap. It's Saturday morning. I got a good night's sleep, and I'm already out of whack. But anyways, we are here to talk about last night's episode of Smackdown. The March 3rd, 2023 edition. And it took place in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. Overall, again, I know I ranted about wrestling the other night. This is a solid show. This was solid. I mean, the only thing that I really was not a big fan of is what they did with Ronda, Shayna, Tegan, and Natty. It just felt like it was pointless and went absolutely nowhere. And I don't know if she is for real injured, but it also felt very out of character for Ronda to be taken out by injury. I don't know. But it was solid. Again, it's not lighting the world on fire right now. Outside, of course, the Omos, Lesnar, Bobby Lashley, and Bray Wyatt stuff that I ranted about. Oh yeah, there was that too. We'll talk about briefly as well. But it was still solid. I mean, again, I'm not saying again the build for WrestleMania is horrible. It's not quite as exciting as I thought it would be. It's solid. It's gonna be. It's not a waste of time, but it's not something I'm going to go back and watch again. Basically, nothing like big and groundbreaking, like of course the build for Elimination Chamber was. So again, just continuing to put the negative thoughts out of my head, trying to enjoy what I can, especially because somebody will be going to SmackDown next Friday. Yeah, I wonder who that somebody is. That's somebody who knows how to be superior to be the man. Because he is the man. Yeah, that's right. I am going to SmackDown next Friday with my friend Dan Guyza. So we will, of course, be there. So let's roll in. Let's talk about this episode because I have lunch soon, but I will gladly roll through. So we opened up with the Bloodline coming out without Jey Uso. Now, we all know Roman Reigns was coming to SmackDown this week to just once and for all deal with the Jey Uso issue. Jay is basically, not decide who he's really, with. Is he with the Bloodline? Or is he with Sami Zayn? But Roman comes out, does his usual shtick, telling DC to acknowledge him. I'm pretty sure if the nation's capital acknowledges Roman, then everyone, does. But then, of course, something else was happening on this episode of SmackDown. And that, in fact, was Cody Rhodes showing up to confront Roman Reigns. Since, they have a match in 4 weeks in something called the main event WrestleMania. But Cody gets into the ring, and he first says he wants to have a one-on-one, man-to-man conversation with WrestleMania opponent. And he sees no reason for the rest of Roman's companions to stay. He tells Paul Heyman, Jimmy Uso, and Sol Sikoa to leave. And he says if that makes Cody more comfortable. And of course, so they leave, and then I don't know why, just the way he said it reminded me of just it made me feel like Roman wasn't talking in his real voice. He was you remember how the people who just try to talk in a different voice while on the phone, pretend to be someone else just to throw them off. And he goes, "So we guys want to talk about?" That's the way it's "So what do you want to talk about?" He goes, "So we want to talk about," just slid right out of there. And it was just funny the way he said it. So, of course, and then he lays out the titles between them. That's before he asked Cody what you want to talk about. And then Cody wants to talk about Roman. 915 days that Roman's been the WWE undisputed Universal Champion. No need to print the legend. Reality has become legendary. And Roman has superseded hyperbole. He wants to tell Roman something about himself that he may not know. And for some, he's become an impossible mountain to climb. And of course, Cody Rhodes may just be Randy Orton's understudy. He'll never survive Stardust. No way 10,000 people want to see him and his buddies put on an Indies wrestling show referring to All In, then turn into AEW, of course. He said the goalposts keep moving, but he keeps kicking him through the uprights, and for anyone else, Roman might be impossible, but to Cody Rhodes, not for him. Roman's like, that was flawless. No, he's like, that was flawless. And shifts gears and pointed at the Universal Championship and says, have you ever won one of these? And then he goes, have you ever even competed for either one of these? Or been in the main event of WrestleMania before? Because he's pretty sure he's done that, and that makes him the most experienced main event of all time. Roman referring to himself on that one, of course. Here's the kicker, though. He's been groomed since he was just a little boy. Not just by his father, but Dusty Rhodes, too. He's got a lot of love and respect for the man, and he's not going to degrade him. Because first Cody's like, don't talk shit about my father. He's like, no, I'm not going to talk shit about your father. Basically, it's like, I'm not going to talk shit about your father. I'm going to talk shit about you. He does do an imitation of Dusty Rhodes as well, how Dusty put the confidence in him, and was the first one to tell him that he has it. And they spoke for hours about everything, but especially about what he's doing now with main eventing WrestleMania and all that. But Dusty, though, apparently never said anything about Cody. Never said anything about Roman to him. Maybe he told Seth or Kevin or Becky, but when him and Dusty were hanging out, it was like Cody didn't even exist. And this is a lot, and he wishes Dusty were here right now to experience this. And he knows Cody misses him. Roman misses him too. Roman then picks the titles up, puts them over his shoulder, and says, Dusty ain't here anymore, but know this. If there's anything he didn't teach Cody, Roman will. He offers a handshake, but then Cody goes, no, I'm not even playing on the same field. This ain't chess. You didn't just send Heyman to Raw to get in his head. You sent him to tell the truth? If that's the truth, that one of Dusty's kids is better than Dusty's actual kid, that means Roman is the son he always wanted. And that changes everything because it's not just a dream or some story that needs to be finished. This becomes a necessity. Roman says he doesn't exist. Well, the only way Cody can exist is by beating him at WrestleMania. So absolutely, Reigns, Sir, Champ, may the better man win. And they shook hands and Roman leaves. So that was alright. I mean, it was more so like, I don't know. I mean, it was good. I didn't hate it, but it was like, you went from Paul Heyman getting personal to Roman Reigns, like, just like playing around a little, saying like, yeah, what Wise Man said may have been a little true. I guess it just wasn't quite as like deep or personal as I thought it was going to get, but it was still good. We got 4 weeks. We'll see what happens. Again, I know a lot of people are still, sour about Sami Zayn, but like I said, Cody, again, I have all the respect for Cody because Cody, through all of this, has done the utmost respect to, put over Sami, put over the idea he's open to fighting Sami, and again, just looking like, hey, just making it clear. He did nothing wrong. It's just, okay, he's getting his big push at the time where people want someone else to get the push, but I feel like he's handling it better than Roman did, can't believe I'm saying this, but 8 years ago. It's been 8 years since they started pushing Roman Reigns to the moon like crazy. I can't believe that. 8 years ago, whenever Roman was getting the push that people wanted Daniel Bryan to have. But yeah, so that wasn't quite what I thought it was going to be, but it was still good. But we'll see, of course, as we get closer to the match at WrestleMania. Thank you! Anyway, so then we then have Rhea Ripley take on Liv Morgan. The match was solid. Rhea won with a bent over inverted cloverleaf after hitting the Riptide. So that's just, her just, getting a victory to, prepare for her match against Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. And then we had the Bloodline backstage together. Again, minus Jey Uso. Jimmy says he spoke with Jay, and Jay says he needs more time. He's better today than he was yesterday, and he'll let him know. And then Roman's like, I'm running out of patience, man. But not with Jay, but with Jimmy. And then Jimmy gets up to let Jay know, and Roman fumes. So, yeah, now Roman's not just mad at Jay. He's blaming Jimmy because he feels like that Jimmy is not doing enough. I feel like I'm talking about Seinfeld because Jimmy's not doing enough. Jimmy hits the super kick. Jimmy calls his bro. Anybody who watches Seinfeld might get the reference of the Jimmy episode. But anyways. So yeah, now it's like, now I'm wondering, like, will Jimmy start to believe Sammy? Well, it wasn't quite showing that, but it's showing that Roman's losing faith in Jimmy now. And all who he may have left at the end of the day is Solo. And the Wise Man, of course, but, Anyways. So, we got a recap of what Dominic Mysterio did to his father last week at SmackDown, going, hit me, hit me, hit me. And then we have Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley running into Santos Escobar backstage. And Dom's like, got a problem? And Santos is like, yes, Ray should have punched you in the face last week. And Pierce even agrees. So if Ray's not going to do it, he can teach him a lesson about respect in the ring tonight. So they have this match with Dominic Mysterio and Santos Escobar. Storytelling-wise, this was a good match. I guess, so they're seemingly teasing a face turn. Well, they seemingly have put Santos Escobar in like a face role currently. Where, like, because they had that backstage segment, like, exclusive after that Fatal 4-Way with Rey Mysterio, Santos Escobar, Karrion Kross, and Madcap Moss a couple weeks ago. And they basically talk about, Lucha Libre and all that jazz. Well, it seems like that they're going with Santos Escobar as a babyface, which is interesting. But I'm still waiting before I do the turn alert. Only because I don't know if this is a ruse or like a temporary thing or if it really is a long-term thing. Because my question is, where does the rest of Legado del Fantasma sit on this? Like, I feel like I can't consider him a face because he was just randomly pulled away from the rest of the group. Hopefully it's not Vince getting his hands on that next. Nope, I'm stopping. But I do wonder though where this is going. Like, I'm intrigued because again, I've always been a fan of Santos. But again, I know he could be. I definitely see him being world champion someday, under Triple H, of course. But where is this going? Why is Santos Escobar being a babyface? But what's the gist with the rest of Legado? So I still like this match. Dom does get the victory thanks to Rhea tossing in some brass knuckles. Referee's like, "Hey, you can't use that." But then while being distracted, Rhea hits Santos with a riptide on the floor, tosses him back in. Dom hits the frog splash and gets the victory. Afterwards, there was a Rey Mysterio mask that was sitting on one of the corner turnbuckle posts, and Dom was like ripping it as he's walking away, and Santos was breaking down emotionally. And then Rey comes out and he starts jawing at Dom, telling him to drop it. And Dom's like, "Hit me and I'll drop it." And he did, but then of course, he still dropped it anyways, and Rey went to pick it up that he'd already ripped up, and then Dom cheap shot him and he walked away. When on earth is Rey finally going to put his hands on Dom? Dom, the ex-con Dom. Hopefully it'll be soon. But yeah, again, with Santos Escobar's involvement now, it's a little interesting. A little more interesting. But I just can't wait for that moment where Rey, unless if it goes as far as, what if they did this? What if Rey does not finally blow up until WrestleMania, and the match with Rey and Dom is an impromptu match? Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. We got a video of Sami Zayn earlier today saying how Roman must be feeling the heat because he's been correct. The bloodline is crumbling, and he's going to be having a match with Solo Sikoa later on in the night, in the main event. And he says the Sami Zayn problem will not go away until he sees his own eyes that the bloodline has been destroyed. So it's still his mission on SmackDown and Kevin Owens' mission on Raw. When will they come together? It's got to be soon, because Mania's in a month, so we'll see. Drew McIntyre comes out. He mentioned how it's 4 weeks till Mania, and he still doesn't have a match. So he'd like to fix that fact by calling out Gunther. Sheamus comes out, and he's like, "What's wrong with you? You knew how much I wanted to be the Intercontinental Champion?" And Drew was like, "I know, listen, I don't need you don't need my permit. I don't need your permission to do anything, and it's not going to need your permission to wipe the ass either." And then Drew said, "We're friends. I tell the truth. Drew sometimes hurts, but you had your chance and you lost twice." Then out comes LA Knight, basically making his case. Then the New Day come out. And basically they just diss on LA Knight, because now they're feuding with LA Knight randomly on the side. Then Karrion Kross and Scarlett come out silent. And then LA Knight takes advantage by brawling with New Day. And then there was just a big brawl with all the men involved. And then it's announced that next Friday on SmackDown, we're getting a fatal 5-way between Kofi Kingston, Sheamus, LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, and Karrion Kross. The winner will face Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. Okay? I mean, again, I know the rumors are still of a triple threat with Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew. Not opposed. I'm not going to lie, though. as much as I would have liked to have seen Sheamus, like, become the Grand Slam champion, especially with how him and Gunther had, like, a match of the year candidate at Clash of the Castle, part of me is kind of wanting to see Drew win. Because I feel Drew deserves still, I mean, yes, he won last year's Mania, but again, he beat Baron Corbin. He beat Happy Corbin. Who gives a shit? I feel like this is kind of like making up for when he had his moment in front of no fans. But that's how I feel now. We'll see about it. But that's next week. We've got that. We didn't have Shayna Baszler and Tegan Nox. This was supposed to originally be a tag match with Tegan and Natalya taking on Ronda and Shayna. But somehow Ronda got hurt. Which seems very out of character, I thought. So Shayna basically squashed Tegan, and I'm just like, okay, well, that was a flop. I didn't really care that. Imperium was backstage. This is before they announced that Fatal 5-Way, and Gunther accused Adam Pearce of poor management. It's not giving him a worthy opponent to do battle with at WrestleMania, which was announced later. Then we have Bobby Lashley, surprise, showing up on SmackDown. Has Bobby Lashley showed up on SmackDown at all since he's come back? I mean, I know he's been on Raw the whole time, but remember, we had the wild card rule for a while. I feel like this might be his first time he's showed up on SmackDown since he's come back. He shows up. Now, this segment had me worried also. Because, okay, get the negative thing out of my head, worried that Vince might beat me back in some role creative. Because Bobby Lashley came out. Now, the last couple times we've seen Lashley, he has said that basically he's all serious, you know, he's not playing games, this, and that. But I thought he was being serious. I thought he was angry and bitter. Instead, Bobby Lashley comes out smiling and high-fiving the fans. And it felt so out of character. I mean, yes, it was a surprise. You know, people didn't expect it. People love Bobby Lashley, but it's still out of character. And it reminded me of when it was the first couple of months when he came back in 2018. He was just smiling, cutting horrible promos. But the way he cut the promo wasn't quite as bad. And he says, Bray's been telling him to run. He don't run from anyone. Now he's playing kids games like the Muscle Man dance, which he found comical, but where he comes from, if you have a problem, you say it to someone's face. So he came to SmackDown for Wyatt's show to talk face to face. And then Uncle Howdy attacks him, and then Bobby Lashley just choke slams him. And then the lights go out, lights come back in, Uncle Howdy's gone. Usual shit we've been getting. Can we just get to the point with Bray Wyatt? Like, it just feels like we've been in this same stage with, like, Uncle Howdy appearing or something like that. And again, I still do not understand why the heck all of a sudden are Uncle Howdy and Bray Wyatt working together. Has, like, Bray Wyatt fully consumed Uncle Howdy's demons? Or, like, I don't know. But I'm already, like, head scratching at this Bobby Lashley and Bray Wyatt feud, as I probably mentioned the other night. But that wasn't too great. But then we have another segment with Jimmy Uso returning back to Roman, saying that Jay still says he needs more time. And Jimmy's like, fine. Jay told him to leave him alone. Leave him the hell alone. And then Roman's like, I don't get it. How could you do this after everything he's done for him? And it didn't start happening until Sami Zayn came around. So he wants to fix this Sami Zayn problem once and for all tonight. He wants Jimmy out there with Soul tonight. And he wants the both of them to get rid of Sami Zayn so Jay can come home. And then when they leave, Roman tells the wise man, if Jay don't show up next week, he's going to blame Jimmy. So once again, it's seeming like we're getting, like, you know, some more dissension. Roman's losing faith in all of his members of the bloodline, except for Solo. Solo hasn't lost faith in. But Solo beats Sami Zayn in the main event. Afterwards, though, Jimmy Uso gets in there. He gets greedy. He wants to, you know, beat him down and basically prove something to the boss. Well, basically, Solo had them all lined up to do that hip attack chair thing, whatever you want to call it. But then Jimmy tells him, "No, wait, let me do this." Took way too much time. Sammy was able to escape, and yeah, Roman is not going to be happy about that. Not at all. So, yeah. I guess next week we'll see how much more pissed off Roman is, and what he does to Jimmy. And of course, Jay's got 1 week to show up again. If not, then Jimmy's in trouble. Jimmy's in trouble, boss. But that was SmackDown. I gave it a B-. Like, everything was fine, except I wasn't a big fan of the stuff with Bobby Lashley and Bray Wyatt. And I definitely was not a fan of what they had with Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler and Tegan Nox and Natalya. So I don't know what's going on with that. So, we'll see. But that's my thoughts, guys. Again, I'll be uploading this, in a little bit. I will be going live some point today. I want to try the green screen for the live stream. But I can't guarantee it will work because, like I said, this room does not get as much lighting as I thought. So we'll try it, see what happens. If not, I'll have to play around with some more things and figure something else out eventually. I do want to bring that green screen back in. But yeah, B- for SmackDown tonight. What are your guys' thoughts on SmackDown? Leave us down in the comment section below. And be sure as always to slap a like on the video and subscribe to our content on my channel. And follow me on Twitter at @TheClubOfTheMan93. And be sure also to follow me on TikTok and Instagram at @TheClubOfTheMan1993. So until you guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you all later. Have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you more throughout this lovely Saturday. Catch you all later, guys. Oh, that's not my move anymore. My move, I gotta get used to this. I'll catch you guys all later, though. Because as always, for I am the man himself.